Hello, welcome to St Michael's Hill. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm actually away from the layout, but I'm going to run through a load of purchases that I picked up from Scale Model Scenery at Warley last weekend. I actually got in contact with Justin, who runs the company, before the show and placed my order to pick up at Warley. So I've kind of forgotten what I've ordered really. So it'd be quite good to kind of run through all this stuff. And then I'm going to start putting some of it together. And then at the end of the video, you'll see it on the layout. So without further ado, the first thing that I picked up is this Next Train and Platform Clocks kit. So I'm probably not going to use the large section of the kit. So this one here is obviously for a big terminus station, but I will probably use some of these Next Train parts. So this comes as a cardboard prefabricated kit. So I'll just need to kind of cut those out and put them on, and then there's a pack of stickers, I believe, in there to kind of give you the finish. As with all of their kits, they're very easy to put together, and they look really, really good. So that's why I've kind of picked up so much. If you're interested in this one, the code is AX01400. So yeah, I can't exactly remember what I paid for all these. As I said, I kind of picked them all up from Justin at the show, but I think the whole order was around £35. So for a lot of stuff, you really get a lot for your money. So that's the first thing I picked up. The second kit that I'm going to look at is this litter pack. So it's simply very small pictures of newspapers, old Tesco bags, things like that, which when you can basically cut them out, scrunch them up a little bit, and then you can use to place them in place on the layout. It just gives a more realistic view of the layout really. If you go to any railway station, there's just kind of rubbish everywhere. I think we always forget, we've kind of become so desensitized to just seeing kind of old bags and old bits of papers and all that sort of stuff that we just totally don't see it anymore. But if you stop and have a look, it's really there. So I'm kind of hoping that once these are on the layout, it'll offer another kind of element of realism and detailing. I really like the miniature Tesco bags. I think they're very, very effective. So once I've cut those out, I'll maybe scrunch them up a little bit and get those around the layout. The next thing is a kit that I really like the look of. So it's rubbish skips. A couple of sizes in here. So I think what I like so much about these is not only do you get the quick cut out kits, you also get some of the stickers and that thing to give you a really kind of good looking skip at the end of it. So I'm going to kind of put these together, and I will be probably putting them in the marshalling yard or around the back between the station and the marshalling yard, just to add a little bit of detail. Obviously you need to paint these up and weather them, which is something that I'll do. But again, a very, very nice little kit. It gives you 2 of the larger skips and 3 of the smaller skips. So again, cracking value for money, and they're very nice kind of kits to put together. The next one's a little bit different because it does actually have some lighting in, and it kind of comes, I guess it's a 3D printed kit. But basically it's the barrel fire incinerator with a flickering LED. So quite simply, you pop this barrel on top of the layout somewhere, and then the wires come down that will run to my accessory bus, which goes to the 12 volt DC. And yeah, it should look really, really effective. Again, I'm probably going to put that in the marshalling yard, and then I might need to add a switch to that separately. So if you saw my last video, you would have seen or potentially not my last video, but a couple of videos ago, you would have seen the control panel. So I might need to add an additional switch to that. And as you would have seen in that video, things didn't go exactly to plan. So that's not going to be too much of a problem, adding another switch to that if I need to. I might just add this to another already one of the switches there, although I think it's quite different to the rest of it. It's not necessarily something I want on all the time, so it probably will be something I get a different switch to and go from there. But again, it's just a very nice little kit, very simple. I think it's going to be very effective. You can really see there's some little bit sticks of wood sticking out of the incinerator, so I think it's a lovely little piece. So the next thing is this sheet of fire hydrants, drains, manhole covers, things like that. So I'll probably just take a few of these, cut them out and stick them on the road surface just to give it a little bit more of a realistic look. I'm really pleased with how the road surfaces look at the moment, but we are short of things like drains and all that sort of stuff. The next thing is platform help points. So this is something that I've wanted for a while. Again, it's a 3D printed kit, I believe. So yeah, it's a simple kind of plastic kit, and then some stickers or bits of paper that I'll need to adhere to the points, and then I'll place them around the station. So St Michael's Hill is going to be a fairly unmanned station. It's quite a small thing without a kind of a ticket office or anything like that. So having a help point is probably something that's very prototypical and probably would be quite useful to the users of the station. So I'll get a couple of those made up, I think, and get them placed around the layout. So the penultimate kit I've got is just a modern litter bins thing. So there's a pack of 8. I guess it's going to be 4 each of these 2 different styles. I'm just going to kind of make up a couple of those and put them on the layout. It's probably being when it's set, the layout's probably before the kind of modern First Great Western kind of clear bins with the green and black lids. So just wanted something that's a little bit more old looking, that can either be placed on the platform or on the street to the side of it. So I'll get a couple of those together, get them painted up, weathered, and they'll look right at home on the layout as well. And the final thing is just more kind of I guess trash to add to the marshalling yard and in the bit of bare ground between the station and the yard, and also to add to the skip maybe. So this is basically a kit of tyres. You can just put them together. We've got 16 tyres that you can get, and it's just a simple case of cutting them out and sticking them all together and then giving them a paint up. So again, it's just something to add more details. I think where this model railway scenery stuff comes together, or sorry, scale model scenery stuff really brings the layout to life, is just by adding the details that you might not be able to kind of add without it. There's various kind of people who make this stuff, but for me, scale model scenery, because they do a lot of their stuff in cardboard and printed stuff, it works out so cheap and it looks so good. So a big thanks to Justin and his team for doing what they do, and long may it continue. And I can't recommend that you check out some of their stuff for yourself. I'm not being paid by them. This is just my opinion, but I put the links below. Please do go check them out. They're a really great company doing some amazing things. So yeah, I'm going to put some of this together, and once that's done, I'll get it onto the layout. So yeah, let's have a look at something going together. The other thing I picked up was these 3D printed coiled yellow gas pipes. So these, as they suggest, are 3D printed, so they all come like this. I just need to add some kind of black thread or something around to kind of look like it's been tied up, and then add some weathering to those. And again, they'll go in the kind of the marshalling yard area. And all of this is just to make it look like an area has been used and kind of not cared for, maybe, as well as it looks at the moment. I think it all adds a lot of realism to the layout. So I started with the skips. Super easy to cut them out, cut the pieces out of the main deck. You can even push them almost, just clean up the edges, and then with some rocket card glue, we just start to kind of build them up together. The instructions are super clear, super easy. So yeah, so far so good. So the skip is now together, and it's probably taken me 5 minutes, if that. Just going to wait for the glue to dry, and then at some point we'll give it a paint, so just a simple yellow paint, and then I'll weather it up a little bit. It'll kind of make a lot of these joints a little far less obvious. The reason they're so obvious at the moment is just because of the different grains on the cardboard. So prime that up, get a yellow paint over it, and away we go. So I've got both the skips completed now. I'm probably going to leave it at that for now. I'm not going to do any more skips, although it's something that I can obviously do in the future. The kit comes with 2 of the large ones and 3 of the small ones. I definitely like the detailing on the larger one a little bit more, but I think the smaller ones are going to be a bit more, I'll have a lot more use for them, I think, on the layout. So still a really, really nice little kit. Once it's been painted up, it's going to look the business. So I've now given the skips a quick coat of primer. It's just a grey Halfords primer, so once that's kind of properly dried, I'm going to paint them up yellow. I'll add the detailing that was supplied with the kit, and then I'll go about weathering. So I've built up 4 of the litter bins. I'm really pleased with how they look. As you can see, they've got 4 sides. They've actually got a hole so you can put litter right down to the bottom. I don't think I'm going to show you that very well, but so there is actually a hole there. You can just about see it. It goes down into the bottom of the bin. But yeah, I'm very happy with those. They feel very kind of sturdy. And once they're painted up, they're going to really look the part. So with the tyres, the instructions say to coat both sides of the sheet in a matte black or a dark grey tyre colour, and then cut them out and put them together, and you can then touch up any gaps. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll show you the results. Now that's done, I'm just going to give it a few minutes to dry, and I'll do the other side. The next thing I'm going to look at is this litter. So I think, as far as I know, I just need to cut out carefully around the litter and then just scatter it around the layout. I'm going to try just scrunching it up a little bit, so it just looks like some of it's a bit scrunched up. I'll see how that looks, and we'll get it in place. But for now, I'll just cut it out and see how it looks afterwards. So I've cut out a load of the newspapers and the Tesco bags and a few of the other bags. I'm going to cut out some of these crisp packets now, and then finally I'll have a look at these. I think these are train tickets, so I'm just going to grab a few of these, and then I'll be ready to put them on the layout. So I've now installed some of the litter onto the layout. I've just tried to keep it quite subtle, really. A couple of bags and newspapers mostly around the kind of platform, and then there's a little bit more down by the buffer stops. Still drying a little bit. This paper at the front here, I use rocket card glue, which has got a slight purple tinge at the moment, but I think that does dry clear. But just in case, I started to just use some Silic cement, so some bags and some crisp packets and newspapers and things like that. Just around, and then I'll certainly add some more to this section here. At the moment there's just a few bags and things like that, so I will I'll continue to add more. I think it's something that at the moment it looks a little out of place, but I think I just generally need a little bit more of it, so I'll keep cutting that out, add it to the layout, and at some point I'm sure you'll see it, and hopefully you kind of almost won't see it. It kind of becomes that thing that's almost invisible. Just like again here, obviously the glue needs to dry, but there's a little paper there and a crisp packet that will be left there, and I'll maybe try and get kind of a cleaner or something like that, member of staff, to be trying to pick that up, just to add a little bit of detail to the scene. I'm also going to add some litter down here, canal, maybe in the canal as well. I think a lot of the time there's kind of rubbish and all that sort of stuff around those sorts of areas. So I will add a lot more. It's going to take quite a while, but I just thought I'd show you how it's starting to look now that some of that's in place. The next thing I'm going to do is put the destination boards together. They look like they're exactly the same as the advertising hoardings in that they are card or thin card with paper printed wraps that wrap around and go together, and we'll end up with basically a fully coloured destination board that will probably just need a little bit of weathering before it goes onto the layout. So I'm going to put one of those together. Like I said, I'm not going to use the large ones. I'm just going to look at the small ones for the platform, as obviously St Michael's Hill is a pretty small station. It's you know, we would never have the large destination boards that you'd see somewhere like Paddington or Euston or one of the big terminals. So it will just be the single ones that go onto the on the platforms that hang over. I'll probably do 4 in total, 2 for each platform, and we'll see how they look. So I'll show you how to put one together, and then I'll get the rest ready for the layout. The instructions are fairly clear, so I'm going to be going for one of these. You can see, so the double-sided 3-line NTI display with platform clocked. Once they're done, I'm going to then make wall brackets here, or not wall brackets, freestanding gallows, to kind of complete the look. So that's what I'm going to go for, and we'll see how I get on. So these are going together okay. They are very, very fiddly. I noticed on the instructions, it does say if you can fashion a wedge out of balsa wood, that might be easier, and I can kind of see why, but I don't have any around. So they do go together. It's just, yeah, I've had one that completely fell apart and did not work, but the others have gone together quite nicely. So there's a couple there. A couple here. I'm just finishing off this one here. So, yeah, tricky, but we're getting there.
Now that I put together the display board, I'm going to just cut out and put together the gallows. So it's just these 3 sections here. The sections without the hang just go either side of the one here. So simple job. I'll get those together and go from there.
The posts have all gone together very nicely. So soon we'll probably prime those posts with grey primer, and then I need to wrap the displays with the paper parts that have been provided, and we'll get one together. So I've put together the display boards. You can see that there is a little bit of white card or marks, especially with this one, around them. The instructions always say with these sorts of kits just to grab a permanent marker or something and just fill in the white, and you know, then it gets rid of such an obvious join mark. So I'm going to do that now quickly, and I'll show you the difference after they're done. I think you'll see quite a difference. So I've given these a quick touch up. They look quite a lot better. I'll add them now to the gantries and get them installed in place, and hopefully be happy with how they look. So here's the final product. I'm really happy with how they look generally. They really kind of look the part, something that people will easily recognise in the layout. So I'm going to install those now, probably in pairs. So I'll probably put a pair of them kind of about there, and then a pair of them a bit further up here, about here. And once those are in place, I'll show you how it looks. So I've now added everything on the platform that I was going to add. So the litter bins are probably the first thing to look at. I'm very pleased with how they come together, even just with a priming, they've kind of come out really nice. The detailing on them is very good. The fact that you can still see litter after it's been painted is great. I might add a few bits of litter coming out of the bin. They're not actually fixed down yet, so I just might add a bit more detail on those first. The display boards have gone on really nicely, so I'm just super happy with how they kind of come out. Look very kind of prototypical. Super happy with those. The other thing is the tyres, so I've added those to the layout, so there's a couple down there and another one just in the centre of the shot there. I'm going to add them around the layout just to kind of, again, add some more realism. As I've already shown you, the litter has gone on. The glue's dried really nicely, actually. They look really, really good. I think it has worked really nicely where some of them have been slightly screwed up, and like the Tesco bag there looks really, really nice. Like I said, I do need to add more of that, so I will do, which I'll show you in a future update when that's all been completed. The skip that I showed you earlier is still drying, but will probably go in the area behind the open gate there. And I'll fill it with a load of trash, a couple of the tyres, and I've got various other bits, maybe some broken pallets and just general rubbish really I'll add to that. But it's going to look like it's been basically abandoned for anyone to kind of throw their rubbish in, but it's that'll finish that area off quite nicely. Generally, I'm kind of almost finished now with the station. I need to add some more people. I've only got one guy on the station at the moment, as you can see. This area down here probably needs a little bit more, so I'm going to add a cash machine, a ticket machine, and things like that, but they're coming from a different range rather than scale model scenery. When it comes to scale model scenery, I really can't recommend them highly enough. The range is great. What Justin and his team are doing is just fabulous. So the links are all in the description below. Please go kind of check out what they're doing, pick up a few kits. They're fun to build, they go together easily, and they look great. So yeah, super good. And because it's card and paper and things like that, it doesn't cost the world. So all these kits on here were less than, well, the ones I've used on here so far were probably less than £30 for all of it, and I've got lots of spare. I will add the little barrel with the fire in it at some point, but I might kind of do a separate little video around that, or I'll add that to one of the updates in future, and that'll probably be added again in this area over here potentially, just as kind of something that's been left on. So I think that about wraps it up for the video today. Thanks very much for joining me again at St Michael's Hill. If you like what you see, please subscribe. It really does mean the world, and it definitely helps with getting the video seen by more people. And obviously likes and comments are always welcome. Also at the end of this video there'll be a link to another one that I think you might like. So if you like what you've seen, stick around and click on that link as well. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon at St Michael's Hill. Bye bye.